Good evening. Well, what's going on, everybody? How are you all doing tonight? Welcome to episode 38 of the Core Podcast. We're hanging out tonight with Mike Puckett from SOLIDWORKS, who does all the certification stuff. How you
Hey
doing,
guys,
Mike?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Excellent. As good as you can be.
Yeah,
Um,
I had a little bit of a rough week. I ended up in the hospital with a broken hip. So I saw Jeff Mirasola's in there. So no old person jokes, please, Jeff. Um,
I think he might have already made one, Mike. I'll be
he
honest.
probably
I think
has,
he's
yeah.
already.
So I just ended up with a broken right hip, and so it is what it is. I'll deal with it, and the goal now is to get my at least the working parts of my body to Atlanta for 3D Experience World this year.
that's good.
Yeah.
Um, you said you're going to have a little walker type of thing to
Yeah,
get
I,
around
I,
with a scooter.
I showed you in the pre-show, so it's
Yeah.
here. Probably not designed in
Nice.
SolidWorks, but I didn't have
I'm,
any choice. They gave me
I'm,
what I
I'm,
got.
I'm sure we know a few people that can make it quite flashy.
Right? Yeah, Magic Walker.
Hey, we could knock something together, Kirby. We got a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
some GoPros as well, so you can record what you get
yeah,
up to.
yeah.
Um,
It's kind of it's timely in a way. About a year and a half ago, my mom ended up in a walker, and she just recently passed away. And so I'm pretty sure this is her getting back at me for making fun of her when she got stuck in a walker a while back. So I even bought her like a headlight that would bolt onto her walker. So paybacks. Like they say, right?
no, it's good. It's good that you're on the road to recovery, and hopefully we'll
Yeah,
get
I
to see
appreciate
you
that. Yeah, thank
out
you
of the world.
very much.
Yeah, we
Um,
hope to see you there, obviously.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's just navigating the airports and the planes is what I'm mostly concerned with, and then I'll just take a cue from Johnny and just get a little buzz around scooter, and tear up the hallways at the convention center. So there's worse ways to
yeah,
get around, I guess.
yeah. When I did it, was good fun.
Or
Just meant I always had a seat.
yeah, yeah, yep, yeah, yeah. I mean, either way, if I don't go, that's a good thing. I have such a good team of guys. Everyone knows what's going on. Everything is shared. We don't compartmentalize anything. So if I don't go, they're more than able, probably better able to handle and get everything going than I am. So I probably, the boss always throws wrenches into the works, if anything.
Yeah, you just at this point you're just going for the beer.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, yeah. Or at our event on Monday, the Duck L'Orange, which is one of their signature drinks that I'm looking forward to the most. Something with vodka and orange juice. So
That's okay,
it should be,
but
or, yeah,
but fancy for
vodka
vodka.
and orange soda, not orange. That would be a screwdriver, right? So
Yeah, so like a Fanta essentially.
exactly, yeah. So it
Oh,
should
he's
be.
back.
Sorry, I made an error. I left my laptop charger downstairs, and then it went low battery. I was like, uh-oh, panic. Sorry, Mike.
Panic
I could
mode.
hear you, though.
Yeah.
And that drink sounds amazing.
Yeah, yeah. So for now, it's because the medication stuff. I know you're drinking whiskey and stuff and beer or whatever, but it's just ice water for me.
Just
So
I would have thought so. Like for me, I'm just on the old Jack Daniels
there you go.
Apple Tennessee.
Yep, straight from the bottle.
I went classic today.
I mean, I've had this in my bar the whole time. This little like drinks trolley, and I've been really enjoying it
Ah,
now in the house, so I can just wheel it
yeah,
around. So if I want to go into the couch, I just wheel it to the couch. If
yeah.
I
I
want
think
to,
I'll put
What?
yeah a tray on
What?
front of the walker maybe with the pull that stuff
That
might
would
be
be.
good for.
We could definitely model that in SolidWorks.
Yeah, or like a donation basket or something. I don't know. Yeah, something. So
It's nice. I
or
like
beer
your
holder.
thinking, Mike.
beer holder. Yeah, yeah. So I see.
I
I see
wouldn't be.
Jeff. Yeah, Jeff missed what happened. I fell off of a plane of a. It sounds funny, I guess. I fell off the wing of an airplane, a small private aircraft, flying to California when we landed. So I fell to the ground and busted my hip joint. I haven't seen the. I want to get the X-rays. I don't know if you got your X-rays and you broke your foot or not, but everyone in the
No,
hospital saw the X-rays. They freaked out when they saw them. So
Oh, that
I
bad?
want to see how good they are.
usually you can
Oh,
request them, but because they
Yeah,
don't really print them out anymore, they're all
yeah,
just digital.
yeah.
what what Kirby means is because he didn't have travel insurance, he got out of the hospital as quick as possible.
Head for the border.
Yeah.
Get me past customs, right? Yeah, it's
I've
funny.
got travel insurance this time.
Yeah.
Time.
This time, yeah.
But the good news is, Mike, what Kirby did get was the security footage of him breaking his ankle, so we
Did
can all
you?
laugh at that again this year.
Yeah, for me, it all happened pretty quickly. So I don't know. One minute I was there, and the next minute I was on the ground, just in agonizing pain. So for anybody that's ever broken their hip, they'll understand. But maybe if you haven't, it's a different pain, that's for sure.
It's like I was going through 9gag today, and there was a post about a woman that had her feet on the dashboard, and then they had an accident, and then the airbag just like snapped both her hips.
Yeah.
And it's just that it looks painful because that showed like an X-ray of just like both hips just in
Of nothing.
the wrong place.
Yeah, it's weird how nothing moves when you. So I dislocated my shoulder about a year ago, and it doesn't move, and it's the body is the human body is an amazing thing, right? In that respect, and how it all works and how it all functions, and then the fact that we're able to repair it and so quickly. I guess I'm very grateful for, but it is what it is. I'm old, but not really old, so I'm expecting to recover to some amount, but I guess I'll have a really cool limp and a story to tell.
I can't remember where I heard this from or saw it, but like, how do you like what was a point where you can really tell that we've become civilized or created civilization, and that is the moment they were able to heal bones, because in nature you break a bone, there's nothing you can do about it. But if you're able to sit still for long enough and stay in the same place and survive, and other people help you, you can mend that bone and carry on.
Yeah, the fact that humans are living to their 80s on average now that's pretty substantial. It's a long time to live. And it's all because of things that we can cure and fix and stuff. And I'm grateful for the doctors and the nurses and everybody. The guy that did the surgery looked like he was about 22 years old, but evidently things seem to be working. So he found the right YouTube video, I guess, while he was doing the surgery,
Nice.
or something. So, but yeah, I'll see if I set off metal detectors now, I guess, when I go through them.
Yeah, that'll be a fun conversation.
I think, they normally give you like a little card to say I've had my hip replaced or something. Yeah.
Well, I should probably look into that.
Well, they do here at least.
Yeah. I guess you don't want to get carted off to the secret back room with the door shut, right? And the rubber gloves.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like just before the cavity search, you raise your hand and go, I had my hip replaced last week. Does that make a difference?
Yeah. Yeah. So you guys excited about Atlanta getting back over here?
Yeah, definitely good. We're quite it's unfortunate that not everybody can make it, and a lot of people they can't make it, either they can't travel in, or because of the vaccine mandate of it.
Yeah.
So it's not we're not going to be able to see everybody, but it will be good to get back with all those that do join us.
Yeah, it's a good reset year, I guess, the way to look at it. And I will say this, that we work closely with the events team, because we have our event Monday night, and we also had testing on Monday. So we work really closely with them, and the people on that team, the North American events team, Byron and Elizabeth and that whole team, they've been outstanding this year. And they're, from the top down, John Paulo and Suchit and Simgay, the biggest concern is to put on the best show that we can this year and make it worthwhile for the people who are going to make the trip there, but also for the virtual attendees as well. And so Avelino on my team put it really well. It's just going to be a nice, quaint conference, something maybe going back to like, say, 2006, where it felt different, right? Where recent years, it's gotten so big that you almost feel lost sometimes, right? And so it's a good reset. And I know we're doing some extra stuff on our end, and I think pretty much every group that has an activity there is doing extra stuff this year to kind of beef it up. So I will say this: if you have the ability to go and you for some reason you decide not to go, you're probably going to regret that you didn't go.
Yeah.
So you guys, so
like I had an experience like this last year. Because you got a big festival called Download Festival. It's a big metal festival. They usually get 110,000 people in, multiple stages, huge fields. It's just this big thing.
Yeah.
But last year, Download Festival took part in a government survey / government program to help kind of experiment and see how music festivals can go back.
Yeah.
So there was a full lockdown in the UK, and they managed to hold a festival with 10,000 people.
Yeah.
All 10,000 people had to take 2 COVID tests before going, and then in the festival there was no social distancing, and then afterwards post another COVID test, and I think at the end of it there was 19 cases of COVID
out of 10,000.
out of 10,000 people.
Yeah, that's a pretty essentially low rate, very low rate.
But yeah, it was this, it was the same vibe of festival, but it was much smaller, a lot more intimate. Like you wanted to get quite close to the front. It was easy to get to the front, so it was quite nice to have a different type of festival feeling. At that kind of scale. So that's what I'm hoping we'll get out of World, is it'll be a lot more intimate, a lot more closer.
Yeah, you probably won't see like the executives or the management, running from meeting to meeting. You'll be able to stop and chat with them in the hallways because they won't have really anywhere to be going, right? So
let's hope so, Kirby.
That part, I think so. It's just, much more accessible, and I'm glad, like you said, I'm glad people are going to be able to come back and get together, and it's just not going to be full strength, but it's a precursor to 2023 when we head back to Las Vegas, or wherever we end up going, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
No, I was just joking. I don't know where we're going next year, so I just like to do that, to throw it out there. So
yeah, you threw us off there. I was just like,
no, yeah.
I was like,
no, they sweat. If I ever did something like that, they wouldn't tell me any secrets anymore. They don't tell me any secrets anyway. So I look at my calendar on my phone, and that tells me what to do each day. So that's
you just focus on your certifications.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're the same, Mike. No one trusts us with sensitive info either.
Yeah, that's part of the fun of 3D Experience World, though, right? So, I mean, there's where it's going to be the next year, the What's New, which I heard is coming back this year.
Yes.
In really good regard.
I know that Sean filmed a bit of the skits for this year as well.
Yeah, and so it's those have been around forever, right? Since I remember back to Vegas 2006 when they did the dating game, Yeah. So they're staples of the event that have just never gone. They've might have been altered, but they're kind of coming back, and that's the great part about the events team, and I think the management in general. It may not seem like they're always listening to the users, to you guys and stuff, but they always hear everybody, and they we got to slap them around a little bit, I guess, every now and then, and they get things taken care of. So, but
yeah, it's good, because I remember it was 2 years back they got rid of it, and a lot of people were kind of upset about it because they were cheesy, bad acting and all that.
In a good way, cheesy, yeah. Yep.
It was good. Yeah. People enjoyed it, and I remember being part of the crowds when they'll be like, "Here's this new feature that allows you to rotate something this way," and everybody just loses their mind. That kind of excitement is really something, and especially like when you're there, you enjoy those moments, and it makes it, get past the little cheesiness of it, and they're funny to watch, and I think that's the whole direction they go with it, is how cringy can we make it.
Yeah, and it's computer software at the end of the day, right? And you got people standing and cheering for things, or running in to grab seats in the morning. It's almost like it's a rock concert at times, and and that just doesn't happen completely organically, right? It's a byproduct of what goes on. But again, nurturing that can be tough. And
but I think like when you see other people getting excited, you yourself want to get excited with them, and you get lost away with those people. You get lost in it. And unfortunately, the virtual side, you don't see that as much. You don't feel that same energy.
No, I think personally, I've had enough virtual for a lifetime over the past 2 years.
Yep.
It's just not the same, and so it's not easy. There's been some struggles getting this thing going, and you guys see the Omicron thing going on now, and there's a lot of discussions about what's the right thing to do and what's the wrong thing to do, and again, I can't think or give the events team enough props. I mean, they're working in a situation that is nearly impossible to work in.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think we're all going to go and leave there glad that we went. I know for sure I will.
Definitely we will. I mean, me and Kirby get excited as soon as we reach the airport together, and we're like, it's that time of year where me and Kirby actually see each other in person again.
Yeah. I'm getting, Facebook message or Facebook memories is far back as I don't know how now. And it the one today, it says, heading to the airport for my favorite work event of the year.
Yeah.
So and it is. I mean, it's fun. So
Yeah. Like last year when we were all attending World from home, getting those Facebook memories.
Yeah,
And just
painful.
looking back and everybody else sharing theirs from other years, finding your face in someone else's post and that. It is.
This time last year, me and Kirby were obviously dreaming up hallway hangouts, weren't we? 3 days of 8.5 hours streaming a day into the early hours of the morning, going to work, coming in and repeat for 3 days. And it was absolutely amazing. And we'd do it again. If we couldn't attend in person, we would still be, doing something. But, thankfully we look like we're going to make it across. And
yeah, I'm yesterday I was 50-50. Today I'm thinking more 60-40. And as the days go by, I'm more and more, I don't think I would, I think I'd be regretting if I didn't go, so I'm going to be there. I'm pretty, unless they tell me I can't go, but
no, I mean, you got two willing wheelchair pushers, Mike, if you need to go.
2.5 weeks.
Yeah, so if you remember, back to Nashville, Avellino from my team, he had lost the bottom part of his leg earlier that year, and he was in a wheelchair. And so one of the first things when I messaged them the other day to tell them what's going on, they asked, he said, "What about the experience?" He said, "Well, if you go, I owe you to push you around this year because I pushed him around all last year." But so I appreciate that. That's been the outpouring of offers of assistance. Everything else has been great. So it shows you how big of a friendship or how many friendships you create from events like this. So just not even aside from the networking and the business related stuff, it's a big family.
It's a massive community, but it's a massive family as well.
Yeah.
Everyone helps everyone. Everyone speaks to everyone. There's no sort of negative vibes at all. It's all positive. I've loved the sort of time I've got to spend with everyone. And me and Kirby are absolutely ecstatic to be able to do it all again this year in person. So we are, unless we can't get in the country for some reason, we are going to be there, and we're going to catch up with everyone one-to-one as much as we can.
Yeah, and so I want to get into it. Part of that is joining us on Monday night for the CSWE event.
Yeah, you're doing the special event. So for those that don't know, what is CSWE? What is a CSWE?
Are you asking me?
Yeah,
that's a good question. So actually, it's very relative because Jeff Mirasola he was in the chat, but he's in here today. CSWE was born out of a conversation with him at SOLIDWORKS World 2010 in Anaheim, or 2009 in Anaheim? No, 2010. It was in Anaheim, or one of those ones. I think it was 2009, which would have been Orlando, if I'm right. Him complaining. So it's his fault. It's completely his fault. Him complaining about how easy the CSWE or the CSWP exam had gotten from years past when it was the old 8-hour exam. These some of us, that took it. They like to claim that as a badge of honor for some reason. What they don't know is the pass rate for the old one was much higher than the current one. So they actually had it easier. So anyway, so I left that conversation and talking to my boss, I said, he kind of has a point, but it's fun to make fun of Jeff and make him wrong. So let's do something. And my boss at the time, Jeremy, says, "Well, what do you want to do?" I said, "How about an expert exam?" He says, "Why not? Write it." And so what we did is, all of our exams are based on, like sheet metal or mold tools, the drawing ones, the surfacing. They're based around can you use the functionality and can you use it efficiently, right? And so in the real world, the ability to learn and use software is it's not difficult, right? But to really use the software in real life, I mean, anybody can model a cube, right? A 1x1x1 cube. Some people will model it a 1x1 sketch and they'll extrude it 1 millimeter, right? But somebody may make 6 1x1 surfaces, knit them, and create a solid, right? At the end of the day, it's the same model, right? One method is obviously much more efficient than the other. And so that's what we started testing for. That's where the expert really kind of tested for, was like, kind of that, and also like the workaround stuff. Like, okay, you really can't solve this with like one simple tool, but with a combination of tools, you can solve this challenge. And it comes from my days in the mold industry of the early days of using SolidWorks, of going asking the design guys and saying, hey, how would you do this in SolidWorks? And they would show you, and it's like, oh, okay. To, at some point past then, them coming and asking me, hey, how did you model this? How did you do this? And using like surfacing to cut solids and all these crazy things, because the software is so powerful. Most of us probably use 50% of it.
Yeah,
that might be maybe that's generous. I don't know. But it's so we want to kind of transition to that is to find those people who are the go-to people at a company that get asked those questions and how they solve things. Oh, yeah. Let me show you, because they're the ones that then train those people to solve those problems and teach them in the software, and then they ultimately go on to spread that knowledge. And for us, certification really is about democratizing CAD and getting people to let them learn these tools and use them to push them to the limit, to the point where it breaks, where we have to fix the software and to go on and create all these great products that are in the world. They put some pins and stuff in me, and there's a good chance they were probably from a customer that uses SolidWorks. And to me, I feel proud that that's possible.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's so the expert really was. So of course, back then at the time when we had released it, I should have grabbed the numbers, but this used to be ranks are growing. But it's still like that exclusive thing. We don't give it away very often. We're very exclusive with it because we want people that want that level and want to be at that level to get it. We don't make money on certifications. We might make enough to pay the light bill in the Waltham office for a couple months or during the year. But we want people to have the value in those certifications. And every few months I get a message from a teacher, and we have this kind of unwritten policy with schools. Like if they have students, you're talking high school students that if they that are working up to it and the teacher feels that they could benefit from having it, the policy is they write me an email explaining why that person deserves a chance, asking for a credit. And so I sent 5 to a high school last week for 5 students, and those kids they'll go on to do great things in their life. And as a company, if we can have that little bit of impact in their life and their success, then I think we've done what we were supposed to do at that point.
Like as soon as you remove the price tag, it loses its value because
and we've seen that over the last so we've done a lot of anti-piracy stuff over the last couple of years, and it's amazing to see what people will do to steal the ability to take an exam. When you think about that, right? I'd rather go steal a pack of gum maybe. Right. But no, but that's what's important to us, is maintain that value. And we fight hard for that. So the CSDB class it's got some good people. I've always, at the last big event that we had, in Nashville was pretty good size. We had 300 people there. You think about having a startup with a team of people.
Yeah.
Perfect group of people. You can design anything. The knowledge. I see some of the people in the chat. John, Matricia, and Jeff, and those guys. You could literally solve any problem that you wanted to with people like this, right?
Yeah.
And it's just because of piece of computer software. So
this is a good example of why I love kind of having chats like this and putting it on YouTube and having this as for example, Brandon is an old friend of mine from school.
Yeah.
And he does hobby design stuff, and that he's just got himself the maker's license because he can afford, it's dirt cheap.
Yeah.
And he's going to be attending Virtual World to watch a couple of seminars and that. He makes a lot of tiny little brackets for his own business and that, and he'll use stuff like Fusion. So moving from Fusion to SolidWorks will be super easy. But I want to try and experiment with Brandon. I want him to be my little guinea pig now that he's part of the, he's got the maker license and he's got access to the platform and all the other makers on there. It's just how much can he learn from the community? Of doing things like going to World, going to user group meetings, chatting to champions and that. And going back to having hobbyists with professionals in a room together at World, you'll have people from like Tesla or SpaceX in that same hall as you. And like, for example, when I use SolidWorks, I'm making props. I'm making like Pokeballs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these are the kind of people that you're in the same room with and you're networking.
Yeah.
Everybody's on the same level. No one's higher than each other. Even though you've got the certifications, you know, you have the CSWEs and the CSWPs. Everybody is all the same.
For instance, Kirby.
Yeah, and even to that extent, I mean, over the years, I think I made the deal. I don't know if it was with Jeff. I made a deal that if he took it in. So I think the first deal was when we used to have a CSWP about a Monday night. And so the first CSWP, I think it was with him, might be somebody else. My memory might be failing me, but I made a deal with him and said, look, you can come to the event this year, but by next year, if you want to come, you have to earn the right to go, you know. And to his credit, he did it, you know, and there's been several people we've seen over the years that have done that. And again, it's not because we're trying to generate numbers or stuff, but I feel that they've truly benefited from having that. I mean, I know, so the first time I ever took CSWP at SolidWorks World 2006, I failed it. And on Monday night, I got to stand and watch all the CSWPs get on the bus to go to wherever they were going for their offsite event in Las Vegas. And so the next year I made sure that I passed it and I benefited from it. So that's part of it as well. And so I love the community of the users, the community of certified users. We just passed 600,000 certified users around the world. I think we issued 95,000 certifications last year.
That's a lot.
It's a lot, yeah. And of that, on top of that, I think if I can get the number right off the top of my head, I want to say something like 6,500 of them were 3D Experience Work certifications. So the 3D Experience Work certifications, funny enough, interestingly enough, are growing at a rate more rapid than the desktop program ever did. So we're already at 13,000 platform certifications in 3 years of the program. It took us 10 years to get to that in the desktop world.
Yeah.
So I think it's a little bit of a couple of things. One, it's taking our recipe that we have for SolidWorks and the certification program and applying it to these new roles and offerings, and really kicking the software around to get it to the point where it's usable and workable, but really giving this software legs. So we've towards the end of the year we released basically the CSWP for the platform is now available. The surfacing, if you will, is coming. We have the CSWA for the platform out now, and those they take off and they just take off.
Yeah.
So
that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, you broke records last year, I think, at World.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So we had a really good year. It's funny. So we've definitely turned the corner from COVID, in terms of the school shutdowns. We had a bad. I think so. The platform certifications grew it was double digits, triple digits, I think. So it's again, it's a testament to I think to the way the program runs, but really to the guys on my team who they're the best at what they do. They're long-term employees. Avelino's been here for almost 20 years. I think Yannick's been here for over 20 years. Daniel's been here for 6 or 7 years. I'm on my 14th year. They know what they're doing. I'm super grateful for those guys, and for getting to manage them and for all the hard work that they put in. Day after day, they never complain. And the innovation and our technology vendor Tangix is nobody else does what they do. So I'm very privileged to do what I do. That's for sure.
No, it is really. You get to meet tons of interesting people. I remember last year you telling us about how you got to chat with some of the Disney Imagineers and that, because they all certify and use SolidWorks and that stuff. So you get to see those interesting customers, but not from a point of view like you're trying to sell them something, more of seeing how they are using the software and how they're interacting with it.
Yeah, enable them to use it. I mean, they were having some struggles at Ride Engineering in Anaheim for a while, and I went down there and just out of the blue, I wanted to go see the rides, right? And see the cool CAD models. I'm a Disney fan, right? And I kind of felt like I got ambushed a little bit with the manager about all these issues. I said, well, I told him when he was done reading off from his laundry list, I can't help you with that stuff, but I can find people that can help you if you give us some time. And about 6 months later, I was down there having lunch with him, and he said, I want to tell you that for years we've had executives come here, CEOs, CFOs, VPs, this and that. Nobody ever helped
Yep.
us. But you came and you put the right people in here, and we solved things. So, I'm grateful for that. And for me, it was like, well, I mean, you guys do really cool stuff. I mean, imagine how Disney changes the lives of so many kids every day, every hour, right?
Inspiring, isn't it?
It is, and that's a big part of it. So they're fun people. So I think they're coming. Hopefully they come. I always like seeing those guys. But like you said earlier, there's, I love everything you do. Your little things, those have an impact on somebody, and they take it all takes skill. And I always tell people that the best way to learn SolidWorks is go look at how somebody modeled something, and go through their tree, because that shows you how their methodology. That's how I learn.
All orange and red. It drives
well,
me
of course,
nuts.
I can't look at Kirby's models, Mike. So.
Oh yeah, I think we all go through those times. I remember times like fixing something or like modeling something and thinking like, ooh, that's pretty dirty, but it's working. And like, who's gonna see this model after me? And like,
that's what Kirby does. He just thinks no one else is gonna ever have to edit this ever again. So.
Well, I make sure there's no errors, but what Jonny doesn't like is that I don't use assemblies. I just build it all in one part file.
That's how CAD kind of started out, right? Well, that was a big thing in CAD, the single model environment, right?
Yep.
And
I accept it.
Yeah, for me, I love top-down assembly modeling.
Nice.
The layout sketch, and I love to see one change moving a bunch of stuff, because to me that's parametric CAD, right? That's what parametric CAD is. It's like, watch, let me change this number. And watch the pin, the bushing,
all changes.
All change just because I changed one number. So, but it's fun.
Kirby does that, and everything just goes red, and like.
And then I've got to go through each feature and fix them.
Oh, you got to hit Control Q, because sometimes it just fixes itself, right?
Yeah.
It's a really kind of confusing way to design, but that's just the way that I've learned,
Kirby.
and I'm comfortable with it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I get my models out.
And you do good stuff.
No one's going to know how terribly it was designed.
No, go back and look at some of your early models. I learned SolidWorks out of a book by Marie Blanchard and her husband when they used to produce it together. And it's this square flashlight with a button on top and the big lens in the front. I had that model somewhere I burned it to a CD years ago. And every once in a while, I'll come across it and I'll open, I'll update and save it and look at it. And it's like, wow. I mean, the only reason it's so good as it is because I was following what the book said. But I remember not understanding what the difference between an extrude and a cut extrude was.
Yep.
Back to those days. So if you can start from that point and get to where I'm at, anybody can get there. It just takes time and dedication, and those people need to be rewarded.
There's hundreds of, maybe even thousands of videos on YouTube that you can go watch.
Yes, and about 10 good ones. Or a little bit more. You got to be careful on those, because you can learn some bad habits, right? As well.
Yeah,
that's one thing to look out for. But you'll catch somebody. And that's a great thing about 3D Experience World, is going there and watching somebody doing their presentation and seeing how they click or pick something. And I never thought to do like that. And each year I always try to make sure that I can get in and go somewhere, go to a couple of sessions of people that I know are going to be good, or maybe somebody I don't know. And I always learn something. You're always going to come away with some stuff there.
Are you going to come to my sessions?
Well, yeah. So if I have mine, I'm concerned about the steps to go up on the stage in the rooms, but mine are kind of boring. So maybe I'll skip mine and go to yours instead.
Yeah, that wouldn't be too bad.
No, there's always, and I know they had a lot of good submissions this year and stuff. And one tip I do like to give is for every session is pick 3 and rate them in your book. 1, 2, 3. If the first one's not good and you're sitting there, quietly get up and walk out and go to the other one.
Yeah, no one's going to be offended or anything.
No one knows. And find something. But there's some popular presenters that will always be packed, and sometimes the information's not always updated, but there's good stuff there. There's good stuff to be had. At the very least, drink a lot of beer, right?
Exactly. Well, Brandon says, do you prefer fillets or chamfers?
Fillets. I mean, I'm a mechanical design guy turned industrial design.
Yeah, nice.
So I was one of the guys. So fillets, I mean, they just make things look so beautiful, I guess, right?
Neat, tidy,
it's
complete.
I was one of the guys that was able to design molds and having a background of working in the shop, so I could understand how the difficulty of putting a fillet on a block versus putting a chamfer and those things.
Yeah,
But
so
to me,
much more effort, isn't it?
fillets just look more beautiful,
Yep.
you know. So there's actually a couple of really good fillet challenges in the CCBA exam, where you have different size fillets that kind of merge and they kind of I think it's correct way you change it and the fillet ends up underneath itself, and you have to go back in and do some trickery to repair that. And it's probably exposing some issues with the software or maybe the kernel, but it's things that happen. It's where you literally, I had it happen to me, modeling someone's like, heck did I do? And it's always about the ordering of a fillet and all that stuff.
Yeah. You kind of, and I find that sometimes when I go to an old model and I want to edit something and then I forget, I kind of like forgotten, why did I put this there and why is that not there?
Yeah. Get into the surfacing though. I would encourage everybody. I tell people surfacing is the black magic or the dark arts of CAD, but you can do things that in surfacing that you just cannot do with solid modeling tools, and you'll amaze and impress your friends.
Well, Jonny and I were fiddling around with quite a lot. I think I've still got some of them somewhere. Is basically we took like Lego bricks and like a Lego head, took that into X shape, and then did some subdivision modeling over that, bringing that back into SolidWorks, and then using SolidWorks to engineer it and make it something that's 3D printable and has tolerances, and we can add screws and stuff into it.
Yeah, I haven't played around too much with X Shape or X Design yet, the apps, but I know the two guys on my team that have done the X Shape or the 3D Sculptor and 3D Creator exams, the hands-on, have both come to me and said that they're really impressed by some of the stuff you can do in those tools. And these are long-term CAD guys too, especially Avellino. Avellino we call him the old prejudice guy. Don't tell him that. But he's hard to impress sometimes, and so for him to be impressed is quite encouraging.
Yeah, but like this here is, we designed the PCB for this and the buttons, and then just use organic modeling and subdivision modeling, and then subtracted the PCB back in SolidWorks, and now it works. It's a product.
Yeah, no, it's amazing to see what some of the guys on the product demonstration team are doing. That's what I'm looking forward to. The what's new is they're wizards with that stuff, and so we bring them in actually to consult on the exams, and we have them go through the beta testing, and they tell us all the little quirks and stuff to watch out for, and those become questions, right? So yeah, it's amazing to see all that stuff and everything. It's so we'll all get there someday, but yeah, Sub D is it's just another part of surfacing that we never had before. That not only do we have now, but we have built off. I mean, the CATIA surfacing engine is probably considered one of the best in the world. It's done all the planes and cars, right? So people all this stuff. So sorry, I'm gonna adjust my leg a little bit here.
Not a problem.
There we go.
John's got a question for you, Mike.
Yeah, so I wanted to get too big. So it'll never get too big, John, right? So the biggest one we ever had was the last CSWP event we had, which was in San Diego in 2000, I don't know, the teens or so, early 12 or something. We knew it was going to be the last CSWP event or hybrid event, CSWP, CSWE. And so we went out with a bang, and we had 800 people that night on the USS Enterprise in San Diego Bay. It was so bad. We had so many people there. And it started, remember, you guys may or not remember, it used to start at 7. It used to go 7 to 10.
Yeah.
We took on buses 900 people from the convention center that the partner pavilion emptied out. There was nobody in there. And the vendors that pay good money to have booths there, they weren't very happy.
I can imagine.
For the Friday night reception. And so that's why it got pushed to 8:30. So now Partner Pavilion closes, and then we go do our event. So it's, again, we knew we were going to have the problem, but it's budget really. As long as we can put on a good event, we'll keep increasing it. this year, again, going back to what the events team has done is, these contracts for these convention centers are paid years in advance, right? We never knew that COVID was going to happen, and
Yeah.
so we have, the company's paid money that basically have these guarantees. And you say, okay, I'm going to come here, we're going to have events, and we're going to bring at least this many people, so we're going to buy this much food and alcohol, right?
Yeah.
So X amount of dollars, and so I'm sure they've tried to be nice as they can and give some money back, but at the end of the day, a contract is a contract, right?
Yeah.
So they've come to us. In fact, while I was sitting in the hospital the other day, I was emailing with the events team, and she said, "Look, why does your event start at 8:30? It's an odd time." And I told her the story, and she says, "Well, the partner pavilion closes at 8. It wouldn't be that bad if we started putting people on buses at 7:30 and the doors open at 8, would it?" I'm like, "You don't have to twist my arm. I'll go all night." And so, she's like, "Okay, done. We're starting at 8." So we're going.
It's fine.
Yeah,
You got the email that says it wasn't your idea. You're all covered.
And will it be like Dallas, where no one takes the bus and everybody scoots?
I don't. Do they have scooters in Atlanta?
I don't know.
Of course they do.
So
I researched the Kirby. Don't worry.
Yeah, I should probably stay off of one.
Yeah.
For fear of crashing and breaking the other hip. But
it's fine. I nearly put myself in hospital the first time I rode.
Yeah.
So we're all good.
Honestly, half the fun is being on the bus going to the event, though, I think, and all the people on it. So, so no, it's I don't think it'll ever get too big. I think our guarantee this year is 200 people. In normal times, we'd be stressing to not exceed 350 because we just start giving out wristbands like candy on Monday afternoon. Because we want people to have a good. I don't mind if people go if they're not a CSWE at least once, to get a taste of what it's like. And it's not, there's not anything, it's exclusive event, but we're not trying to segregate people,
Yeah.
It's more of a reward, but I want people to be like enticed to go as well, because I know that them earning that CSWE, not only will it get them into the event, it's going to get them other things in their career and life that are going to be far more beneficial than 3 hours at a duck pin bowling alley in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So, but no, we have a pretty good event planned this year. I think I did put a blog out a while back, but if you guys remember, we're at a place called the Painted Duck in Atlanta, and it's duck pin bowling. I don't know if you guys are familiar with duck pin bowling. It's these very little small balls and these pins hanging on string, but they have these other like human-sized games. Like supposedly there's a human-sized shuffleboard. Or like a human-sized pool table where you're rolling the pool balls, the cue balls and stuff. So it's supposed to be a great event. I've been able to again, the events team, I guess, for some reason they love me a lot, and they always find these really great events. They make it tough actually, because they, last summer they came to me and said, like, well, here's some options. Which ones do you want? And it's like, oh, you guys are making a tough decision. But and so we're going all out this year because again, for the people that are coming on site, we want to make it worth your experience, and it's the headache to get there. So it's open bar. We're going to have some specialty drinks, open bar, but I'm looking at the menu here, salivating. So I guess it's a duck place. So duck fat fries, let's see here, onion dip with ruffles, pulled pork, brisket sandwiches, king crab scampi, vegetables, spicy chicken thighs, brownie bites. And then signature cocktails, the duck l'orange is I guess that's their big one. Vodka, orange, and coconut. So
orange and coconut.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good actually. Yeah. We're sparing no expense for the event. We will have t-shirts again. It's a bit of an exclusive design of the t-shirt. We have new logos this year. So if anybody that has any certification, instead of being square, they're now round. They've all been swapped out. If you want to replace yours, we can replace it. So it'll be the first year with that new logo. So the shirt will be a little bit of a collector's item. And no, I won't mail anybody a shirt if they're not going. So if you want a shirt, you got to go. And if you go, maybe I'll give you an extra shirt. But we even cut back a little bit on the shirt orders we're being frugal with our customers' money as well. We're not spending like drunken sailors, but we want to make it worth it. So it should be fun.
It should be good. I mean, I know last year we gave Jonny a little challenge to see if by the time next time we meet that Jonny will have some sort of certification.
Yeah.
Jonny, do you have any certification?
Thanks for calling me out, Kirby. You absolute. No, not yet. It's on the list still. We'll get there.
Take the CSWA, then you can
No,
say yes. It's easy. There you go. Yeah, take the CSWA.
no
That's
rings
the
or
easy one.
something.
No, honestly,
Yeah, I'll start with that.
yeah, we understand that a lot of
time.
it's time, and they're not easy. They're not meant to be easy. They take some time, and I mean, people can do it, but so again, I want people to realize the benefit and not
Yeah.
the penalty. So, but that's the thing on Sunday for the first time ever at a conference. Anybody that's on site, if you qualify on Sunday, you can come sit down and take the CSW event, the CSW exam.
Yeah.
So we've never ever offered it at the conference because logistically it's a little bit of a challenge because we need to ensure that the person qualifies for it. But we've been able to fix that through our software. And again, we just wanted to include something this year that's special that for the people who come. It's the only way to get it for free, unless I guess you bribe me or something. I don't know. Maybe you push me around one day or something. I might give you a credit. So yeah, so we and whoever passes that day, I mean, they're more than welcome to go on Monday night, and we'll make sure we get their ribbon, all that stuff to them. So
Yeah. CSW challenge accepted.
there you go from Brandon. Yep.
So I mean, can you take the certification exams using the Maker Edition?
No, and so what we did some years ago is, and I'll say 99% no, because there are some enterprising people I'm sure out there that can make it work, but we want it to be a certified SOLIDWORKS expert is a SOLIDWORKS exam, right?
Yeah.
And so we have the 3D creator professional that's a hands-on, which is the CSWP for the platform, right?
Yeah.
You need 3D experience SOLIDWORKS to take that exam. The functionality that you need to answer some of the questions just doesn't exist in the desktop program.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to go somewhere that's using 3D experience SOLIDWORKS and say that you're certified in that role, you should know how to use those tools, right?
I mean, the Maker Edition does come with SOLIDWORKS Desktop.
I believe it's 3D experience SOLIDWORKS. It's a connected. So
Yeah.
I'm going to be very careful with my terminology here because it's connected or something like that. It's
I know with the Maker Edition, you can only do cloud saving and it has to be logged in.
Yeah, and that's right. And so those exams, the 3D Creator Professional and the 3D Sculptor Professional, they actually have prerequisites you have to take and pass Collaborative Business Innovator Associate and Collaborative Industry Innovator Associate. And that's the best piece of advice I can give people for buying the Maker offer, is to go through and learn those roles and get very good at them, because those, especially the business innovator, it's the foundational role of the platform. Once you understand how that role works, it answers so many questions about how the platform works. Because I'll be honest with you, the platform is not easy. Okay,
No, it's not.
It's not. But and when we started using it internally 4 years ago now, we all challenged it and questioned a lot of things. But to this day, my team could not do what we do without the platform. Because we've learned how to move to the platform and utilize these tools in ways that I don't get email anymore. My email in my inbox is 5-10 a day now, because of the way we've structured our group. Yeah, because it's all on there. Why do I want to communicate with my team through a threaded email when we can have a private 3D swim community where somebody posts something, tags somebody? It's like Facebook, right?
Yeah.
And it's instant. It goes back and forth. And so the tools are evolving. Okay, the roles are evolving, and they're much more usable today than they were 3 years ago.
Oh yes.
And that's a testament to the development team and the SOLIDWORKS team. So learn the business innovator role. But no, to get back to your original question, we purposely build the exam so you have to use that role. Even like a SOLIDWORKS exam, you can't take like Infusion. You can take it, but you won't be able to answer all the questions. And again, I don't care if Brandon uses Inventor or Fusion 350 or whatever to take a CSWP exam, go for it. At least he's learning a CAD tool.
Yeah.
They're all similar. He's learning something, and but at the end of the day, he won't be able to get to that level. No, you'll need
With Toby doing his challenges and that stuff, the people that watch his videos, there are people that do it in Fusion and they get the same answers. It's not about it being specific to a certain software. It's about
Yep.
No, yeah, it's,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I have a
modeling for a weight. So
I have friends that work at Apple, and they use SolidWorks, Creo, a couple other different packages, and it's basically whatever they feel comfortable with. And I don't love my iPhone any less. It works great. They find out they figure out a way. Tesla used to do that, and I think they're all exclusively Dassault now, but
yeah,
they're tools. Everybody and some stand out above the rest. It's let the sales guy worry about all the competition stuff and talking bad about each other. We'll just continue to inspire and make great products.
hey, I'll happily badmouth Creo. I use it at work, and it's, no thanks.
Yeah, the only other CAD package I used was I took a 14-week long AutoCAD class, AutoCAD 14, and then 2 weeks later I discovered SolidWorks and never looked back. So
Yep, me too.
Yeah, it was the same with me. I was in university. We were shown Unigraphics NX, now Siemens NX, and then like a month later, got introduced to SolidWorks through a mechanical engineer at my place I was staying, and he just like, here's my license and that, saw it, and I messed around with it.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah. The great thing is the companies push each other, right? I mean, you hear PTC talking about platform now, right? Because it's making some noise, and it makes sense, but I don't know. Maybe we're always just a few years ahead of things, and that makes it a little more difficult. So we have to learn. But it's fun. Again, it's funny. I don't know. I guess I'm a platform believer because I believe in it, not because they told me to. People can say whatever they want.
Like, and when the platform got pushed quite a lot of the community was kind of thrown back by it, being like, what is this? But the ones that have, especially the community members that have stuck around, and are now using it constantly, they can really understand it and use it.
It's confusing as all hell.
It's scary when you first go.
It is, yeah. I don't know if I say it's enterprise level software, but it's definitely meant for companies like Boeing and Ford and stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. But it's again for our team is we found a way to carve out the niche that we need from it. So we don't like if I need a logo, right? I know where that logo is stored on our team's shared dashboard in 3D Drive. So I used to have to email the guy, hey, send me this logo, or they were stuck on or the exam databases. So all that stuff now, like you guys would have CAD models at your work. We have all our stuff, our assets stored on the cloud there. We use stuff like that. But it's communication and collaboration, and we'll get into that more with the exams so we're strategically building these exams where we have the 3D Sculptor and 3D Creator, and then we're going to have a somewhat simulation one. And that's the three guys on my team. They each own an exam, right? When we get back out and start doing user group presentations, eventually the user group leader, be smart, will want to have all three guys come through their group because the three of them will work on a shared story. Kind of like, remember the lawnmower from 2 years ago? The lady that
last year.
It's my pet peeve.
Yeah, it was. Marketing people are not very good at technical presentation. Let's say that. So we'll kind of tell that story to show where it connects, But again, like even the makers community, people know to tag me, and I go in there. When I launch my browser, it launches 3 tabs, and it launches to each platform that I'm on. I'm on our internal private one where we do all of our internal stuff. The public one where the makers stuff and SolidWorks forums are, and then the partner one where we have with our resellers. And I go in there and I just scroll through my 3D Swim feed, and I'll see if I love when I have notifications now because that means somebody wants to talk to me. I click on it and they're asking about this. Like in the external one, the public one, it might be, hey, for our user group, how do we get this exam for free for our members? That guy would have had to have known my email address before and known to email to even ask me, right? But now he doesn't have to.
Easy to connect.
It's almost direct connection. It's social in that aspect. And I guess I'll leave it at this. I can't wait to see where the tools are at in 2 years.
Yeah. I mean, before, in order to have any access to SolidWorks employees, go to World.
Yeah.
Where now you've got a platform where you've got access to these staff members that can help you out.
It's almost too much access sometimes. But I've found, like I said, the default is when you get notifications, you get an email as well. So my routine is so well established now. I've turned off all those notifications, so I don't, because I try not to work on the weekends. Today's a holiday, but
Yep.
I just go in there to check and stuff, but I don't get emails anymore. It's nice in that respect. Our meetings, we use it's a role called 3D Lean, and lean manufacturing is all about the meeting in the morning, right? And so we use that tool because it's just a basic, it's an electronic whiteboard, and we use that as a way to organize our meetings. And then in our community during our meeting, one of the guys is in our wiki and putting notes for the meeting for each month. So I can go back 16, 17 months ago and see what we talked about in a meeting. It's always there.
I mean, I'm sure like right now you've seen the big advantage of it all being on the cloud, because you're not in Vegas, you're in California, and you can do almost the same amount of work
anywhere. Yeah. But
anyway.
And the other great part is I'm not carrying. I'm using a Mac. I'm not that weighs as much as the power brick for the equivalent Lenovo that the company assigns technical people. So I'm not breaking my back. I carry 2 computers with me instead of 1.
Yeah.
I love using Macs, and so that's another advantage of it as well. So I can't wait to get into the CAD roles and start using CAD on a Mac and stuff. But the cloud stuff is there. It's we've all been using the cloud for years. I mean, our banking, everything's done on the cloud now, right? Pictures of my insides and my hip are floating around the cloud somewhere, I'm sure, going back and forth, and so, it has ups and downs. We had a day or a couple weeks ago that it was out for a few hours, and it does kind of change things, but,
one day Jonny needed to use it.
Yeah,
it's not, well, and that's the thing, it always seems like it's the day you need to use it, right? But what that means is that you're using it so much that it just happened to be the day, one of those days as well.
I would say the last this year, let's say that I've really upped my game on checking notifications, trying to communicate on the social side of it and stuff, to the point where on an evening I sit down, I open my laptop, and the first thing I do is go to the champions dashboard or whatever. I comment on a few things, like a few things, put a post out to say we're sitting down with Mike this weekend, sort of thing. And then it was the first week in January, I sat down, I opened my laptop, and I just got a line of code, and I went, it's down. What am I going to do first?
Yeah, well, go get coffee or take the day off. Right? Yeah. It's like I remember going into work, and somebody broke the EDM machine last night. You can't use this one. Okay, what do we do today? Well, you go do something else, you can go home. Okay, I'll go home, take a day off, right? No. So, I think we'll get more stability as that comes along and stuff. That's for sure. It's not a problem, I don't think, is now. And you can get on-site clouds as well. So there's solutions to everything. It's interesting things. So definitely. So I want to say hi to. I see Travis is in here. I want to say hi to Travis.
Yes.
That's a long-time SOLIDWORKS guy there.
Looking forward to seeing everyone in Atlanta.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing him as well, for sure.
I think, everybody's just
ready for it.
Yeah, the one thing we haven't fleshed out is where the offsite event is. So if anybody has any, I don't even know, and I don't ask because I don't want to put them in the position to tell them.
We know.
Do you? Is it going to be a good one?
Yeah.
We know because it's been released already.
Oh, okay. Well, you can share. You can break the news to me, I guess.
It's at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Okay. You know what? They did mention something about that. I wonder if they're going to get tours of the place.
So you were there when they did that event by the Patriots Stadium.
Yeah.
And that was my first time doing coming to America for a SolidWorks event, and there they did the tours, and that was awesome.
I want to see the roof open. We're all design nerds, right? Who doesn't want to see that roof open?
We would lose it.
Yeah. To be up
I'm
there.
already show me the mechanism, please. Thank you.
Yeah. It's not quite as nice as our new Raiders Stadium in Las Vegas, but it's close.
It's a good second.
Yeah, good second. Little plug for the Vegas home team there.
Nice.
Excellent.
Yeah, that should be fun. Nice and airy and open, and I don't know. Maybe maybe we compete against each other in the 40-yard dash. You give me a 39-yard head start, and
well, it depends if you got a little scooter.
I was just about to say, Kirby, I might be bringing something that might give you a little boost.
Yeah, I actually have a 3-wheel, but it's a stand-up scooter. It's not very comfortable, so sit down one probably better. But no, that's And again, I'm sure whatever the team has put together, it's going to be top notch, and they always
They're always good fun.
Yeah, I always say I almost think they have the better job than I do. It's close. It's very, very close.
I don't know.
I think it's you.
CSWE event is renowned for being
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
the last one in Nashville was awesome in the
Yeah.
arcade.
well, we do it for you guys. I mean, that's we're always trying to outdo ourselves, and the obviously last year allowed us, and this year allows us to reset a little bit. We wanted to come back and do some bigger things this year, but the logistics of it just is still just there. It's not we're not 100% beyond this thing yet.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
Hopefully the next year, whatever year where it's like, okay, everyone's coming and no one's afraid to go. We're gonna spend a lot of money and do a lot of cool things. Have some good products from our customers. I love celebrating our customers' products. That's always the best. So, yeah.
I mean, it may be different with Will because you've got to pay a fee to get into the conference and all that. But
Yeah.
last year we did 2 trade shows for work, but these are trade shows that are free to attend.
Yeah.
It was the quietest we've ever seen these trade shows, but it made it interesting because every person we spoke to were there for a reason. They had come out
True. Yeah.
to find something. So there was a lot less just people wondering.
Yeah. Good lead.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah. Lead generation is probably really good in that aspect.
So, like, while World, you're not going to get as many local people just attending because there's that event there, but all the people that are going to be travel from afar, they're there for a reason, and there's going to be a lot more.
Yeah, there is something fun though when there's 6,000 people sitting, or 3 or 4, 5,000 people sitting in the General Assembly or General Hall in the morning, right?
All hungover.
Well, just I mean, there is something about that to this day that this will be my 14th year as an employee, and when the lights go dark on Monday morning and it starts, I get a little water eyes, because to me it's still just incredible. I'm still that kid that's waking up on Christmas morning and believing in Santa Claus, I guess, in a way.
Yeah. I remember my first year. It was like I never thought this existed, but it does, and I'm glad it does, and I'm happy that I get to turn up, show face, and experience it every year.
You realize you're not the only person that's weirdly obsessed and excited about CAD.
Well, I finally revealed to the events team last year that we get there and because my team, since we're all remote, we're actually going to get together on February 1st in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, about an hour and a half south of Atlanta. And our vendor, our technology vendor, they're from Sweden, so they fly over and we spend a couple of days. Literally, we hang a sheet on the hotel room wall and bring a projector, and we meet for 2 days to discuss what we're going to do this year and how we want to change things and what's the next big project stuff. So we get on the ground in Atlanta. We'll be there on Friday, and the first thing we do is we go. I told this to the events team last year, and they were laughing. Is we go scope the back ways into the general session hall, and it's not because we want to get in there to get the front row seats. We always sit like in the second section of seats back, so we're never in the front. But we get like a front row off to the side, so because we don't want to take your guys' seats, basically. And so they thought it was funny, and then I think that was on Monday. Then on Tuesday, the head of the events team, she said, "Look, you guys just go to the security door and give them your name, and you don't have to sneak in today." So we thought it was kind of funny in that respect. So I don't know if I get that privilege again this year, but to me, I like to be in there. I love to watch people running in and just the passion and stuff. And
it's amazing.
Yeah, years ago, John McElhaney used to talk about the emotional paycheck and how SOLIDWORKS World was the chance for us to recharge our batteries. And for me and my team, to this day, it still is. It's a lot of work being there. It's a lot of work preparing. I think one year I walked literally, I think, close to 20 miles over those 5 days. I think it was LA. And you're tired when it's over, but I'd give anything to start the next day. I'd do it again.
Yeah, like the Thursday after, I've got a video of Johnny bobbing for fish, falling asleep in the coffee shop the next day.
Yeah, and but it's worth it, and that's why going back to this year, it might be nice to have a little quaint event where it won't take you so long to get to do things, and so I enjoy it in that respect. So like have a little private kind of world,
I think for us it'll be nice to catch up with people, the ease of finding people. And like Kirby says, we stay up till stupid o'clock socializing with people. We're in for 6:30, helping with whatever we can. I mean, we acted as bouncers one day, didn't we, Kirby, for like the user group leaders. So we kept their seats for them in general session, and it was like, there's nothing else like it for us. The Thursday came, I was still in a cafe or in like the breakfast bar. I was falling asleep.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's a great time, and I know everybody. There's a lot of employees that go. There's a lot of employees that don't get to go that wish they could go. I think this year they're pretty much anybody who wants to go can go, that feels comfortable going. So all that stuff as well. But we all enjoy going, and then it's a customer event. I mean, we put it on for you guys, and it's fun. So I'm glad to see people are going, and looking forward to seeing everybody. So
yeah, it's also the first year that, the first time that the champions are actually doing something in the public domain.
During like one of the general sessions, or during the conference itself, or
well, because the champions program started after Nashville.
Yes, true.
So the user group kind of like event on Wednesday night is now joined with the champions event. So there's going to be a lot of champions at World this year.
Yeah.
So you should try and weasel in there with Sean and try and get some certifications. I know Dan weaseled his way into the champions program and got a few user group leaders out of it.
We do enough for those guys with digital badging and credits for group stuff. I don't think they would say no to me to begin with, but it's Wednesday night. So we have our partners dinner is on Wednesday night, where we do one technical award, but it's a little bit of a stuffy kind of management event. So any reason to escape there early and get away is reason enough for me, for sure.
You can come as our guest, Mike, for sure.
Definitely, yeah. No, looking forward to it.
So yeah, at World we've got two, as far as we know, we've got 2 1-hour sessions to actually broadcast our podcast live from World.
Yeah. I don't know how the logistics of all that works and the sound, and because everyone always complains about how loud the CSW party is, and I can tell you we've taken no steps to reduce that this year. So apologies already if it's loud. I mean, we can turn it down. You guys are more than welcome. I know you're gonna join us anyways to come hang out. If you don't want to come work, just come hang out. But you guys are more than welcome to, whatever the terminology is, boot up or whatever, and maybe send send a TikTok or something out.
I mean, I've been experimenting with my camera and that stuff, so I'm going to bring it. So anything we can't broadcast live,
we're going to record.
We're going to record and post them up later.
There you go. Yeah.
We'll definitely get some footage, Mike.
Yeah, and then definitely come by on Sunday during the testing, and you can watch people see them sweating in front of a computer.
Oh, that would be great. That would be really great.
So, but
yeah, we come in on the Saturday, and we're staying till the Friday, so we're staying an extra day afterwards as well. It's kind of
that's great. Yeah.
What are we, 3:00 on the Saturday, Kirby, in time for Cad Monkey, and then we're all the way through until Friday. So we've got a nice little break away from real work, and we get to hang out with people like you, Mike. So it's going to be great.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys there too. And I do want to say thanks for all you guys do for the community and stuff, and the weekly podcast and spread the information. I know it helps our users a lot, and the more people can learn, the better. So, and I know you guys have evolved as well, and in your understanding of SOLIDWORKS and use of SOLIDWORKS. So it's been fun to watch.
I mean, like the realistic thing is that I don't use SOLIDWORKS professionally. I do it as a hobby.
Yeah.
It's just something I just mess around with. That's just the nature of my job. Like I sometimes would do little CAD jobs, but it's all internal. Make a jig for this, or make a mount for this. But and that's just purely because we don't like doing CAD jobs for people.
Yeah. No,
customers are the worst.
Yeah. They never seem to pay on time, right? I'm the same way. I mean, I'm going to remodel my kitchen at some point, and of course I'm going to model it in SOLIDWORKS to see where things fit. I need to know how much wood to buy and all that other stuff, right? The thing is, I want to look into an SLS. Actually, you guys are familiar with 3D printing. I want to get a powder-based SLS printer next year, maybe a Form, whatever it's called, Form
Fuse.
Form Fuse, yeah. I'd love to get into one of those because of what you can do with the powder, right? Aside from like the SLA and the other ones.
It's a very, very messy process. We just bought our second HP MJF printers.
But I live in the U.S. where I have a 4-car garage for one car. So I have plenty of room
You gotta-
outside.
Oh, Mike, don't.
Yeah, like in the
teasing
UK, I
me.
see these little tiny, that's you got to fold the mirrors in to get in your garages, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got to fold your mirrors just to get down the road.
Oh, don't, Mike. Don't ever visit Kirby, Mike. Whatever you do, it's a trap. Honestly.
I've been I've not up in that area, but I've been to the more remote parts of Cambridge and seen and driven actually from London to Cambridge and back through some of those towns and
We were in Cambridge the other week.
yeah,
Well, not the other week, the other month.
yeah.
Yeah, it was
I miss.
month.
I haven't been for 2 years, and I miss London. Well, just the UK in general. I miss going there. It's such a great place to visit, and it was always around my birthday the time that we went. So I always got to spend a long weekend there. So hopefully next year or this year actually, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So
Because we hosted the first UK regional event. Try to get all the user group leaders in a room together and invite as many people in. So we got a place. We booked for 40 people, but 3 people turned up.
Yeah.
So we're just like whatever.
Dude,
It's
We
more
had
fun.
fun.
Yeah.
It was 6 of us in total in the end.
Yeah.
One of the people that came brought his laptop and he was showing us some models. We did a pub quiz, gave away some sponsored stuff. But then Johnny and I stayed later in the bar, the main bar.
That was crazy. Absolutely crazy.
And then, we're just chatting away. And table behind us noticed that we had a SOLIDWORKS shirt. And they're like, oh, wow, you guys use SOLIDWORKS. And we kind of explained what we were doing here. And then we just ended up sitting with them, chatting about SOLIDWORKS.
Yeah.
And that just took me back to an old hashtag that for some reason so many people hate is the SOLIDWORKS is everywhere.
It is. So my related story is my friends from that work at Apple, they came down for a Raiders game a few weeks back, and they were there for a few days. So we had a day free, so we drove out to the Hoover Dam, and we were standing at the Hoover Dam looking over the face of it. And it was a family, a mother, a father, and their high school age son. I'm kind of looking over my shoulder, and of course I have a CSWP or CSW, some kind of SOLIDWORKS shirt on, and I hear the mom say, oh, look, SOLIDWORKS. And I said, oh, you guys use SOLIDWORKS? And she's, oh, my son's learned it in high school and he loves it. So, well, good luck with it. I gave him my cards. If you want to get certified, shoot me an email. But I'm staying on top of the Hoover Dam, right?
Yeah,
and it is everywhere.
Everywhere we go, we seem to bump into someone, don't we, Kirby, that uses SOLIDWORKS or knows about SOLIDWORKS or want to use it. I mean, Brandon, for instance, in our chat is... as you say, he's come from Fusion 360 and he's now on a maker's license and is just wanting to learn and, develop and grow more into it. And me and Kirby are giving him every help we can every time we stream or whatever. He's in the chat. So it really is everywhere.
Yeah, and I'm most interested to see people like that who first entered the SOLIDWORKS universe through an offer like the Maker's offer, using true connected SOLIDWORKS and not having our experiences are tainted because of the desktop experience we have, right?
Yep.
Regardless if we want to admit it, it's always going to, well, this is how we do it in desktop. Why can't I do it in that way? Well, because that's not how it is over here. So those are the people that I'm most interested to see, like how they evolve. And but we see that with the exams. I mean, the CSWA one, I mean, there's a few hundred people that already have the CSWA version for 3 Experience SOLIDWORKS.
Yeah.
And to them, they don't know desktop, right? And so they look at us and think like, you guys email files to each other? Really? Right?
Yeah.
So it's we're all getting older.
Yeah, Apps for Kid is a good kind of gateway drug into the world that's CAD.
Yeah.
And I've always said this, I wish I had that kind of tools, those kind of technologies while I was learning. I had technology classes in school, but it was like, build this kit, follow these instructions, or, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Why did I take a typewriting class in high school, right? So
it's just completely changed now, the way that people interact with it. I mean, the fact that you can just model something on a tablet and then bang it onto a 3D printer and it's done.
Yeah, so I saw you answered Brandon's question, but basically desktop is software that you have to install, right? That it's not, well, I guess there's an installation mode to the connected version, but it runs on a computer that's not connected to the internet. So
So Brandon, it's, for example, playing Call of Duty on Stadia versus playing Call of Duty with Steam.
I love how you've put it in gaming terms for him.
Yeah,
so
I'll have to trust
to it.
Yeah, and I'll have to trust you when you say that. I don't.
Yeah,
don't know the difference.
Me too, Mike.
Yeah,
Not my cup of tea. We'll get there.
Yeah. So well, great. So I look forward to seeing you guys in Atlanta. You guys might want to take a black marker and write your room number on your shirt because you're at the Omni, right? And
Yeah.
that bar is going to probably be the happening bar. So that way they know where to drop you off at the end of the night.
Mike, honestly, don't.
We're the
After
one who
my
drop people off.
Well, there
Yeah,
you go.
we're the. After
Yeah.
my experience in Nashville of getting back to my room, honestly, it's not even a joke. It's like
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
don't lock
until you've
yourself out
walked
of the.
through. Yeah, I lock
I haven't-
myself out of my room
I
until
haven't
you
done-
walk through an Omni lobby without socks or shoes on, Mike. Don't speak to me about it.
Yeah.
2 in the morning.
I have an unwritten rule or I have an unofficial. I try to be back in my room until Wednesday night. My curfew is 11 o'clock. I try to be back. Try to be at least at the bar. If I'm at the bar, I don't drink. But back in my room at 11 o'clock because we were up at 6 o'clock next morning. Get ready
Yeah.
for the day. So, but have fun, and I'm just mostly joking, but
So
that'll be
we've got the advantage. Like jet lag is our main. That's our secret weapon. The jet lag wakes us up at like 4, 5 o'clock in the morning anyway. No matter how late we've stayed out, that jet lag kicks in.
yeah. It's funny because I get jet lag when I go to Boston, but when I go overseas, I don't get jet lag. So 3 hours affects me, but 6 hours doesn't for some reason. So, So Travis asked a question about any apps for traveling overseas, no internet connection. If you can get a hold of a desktop version of SOLIDWORKS, the internet connection on a plane it's spotty to begin with, right? I don't know. I guess if I'm on a plane, I'm not the last thing I'm wanting, unless I'm forced to. I don't want to sit there and work, I guess. I try to.
Johnny builds himself a fort, and I watch movies.
Yeah, but one thing to remember is 5 years ago. I mean, you can watch DirecTV on a plane now, right? Satellite TV, right? 5, 6 years ago, we weren't able to do that. So think 5, 6 years from now, what will you be able to do with CAD tools on a plane?
Yeah, you'll probably just have full internet as is.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember like traveling, from South Africa to the UK, and you had to watch whatever movie they put on the tiny little screen up at the front of the plane. Like everybody watched the same TV.
Yeah, no, it's
experience.
technology is great. And again, we're at the infancy of all this stuff. We're just this is our first big cloud offering. We're basically a year and a half, 2 years into it, and back in the early days of SolidWorks, I mean, we didn't have mates in assemblies for years. Drawings didn't come along forever, right? So the quote unquote race to get to the comparable things. I mean, the platform stuff is far ahead of desktop in that respect. It's because development works so much faster. So
you can update things faster. You can make changes.
Yeah. Right now, I'm of the mindset that if you're not learning the platform stuff, you will eventually get lost and left behind.
Yeah.
It's
right now it's very powerful.
Yeah, right now it's not. Maybe you won't be winning the race, but it's coming. I mean, but the great part of it is that it's changing and developing in a way that everyone is going to love what they see and how it works. So
I mean, at the trade shows that we do at work, quite often it's run in line with some sort of injection molding thing, and because we do batch production using SLS 3D printing, you get a lot of these like old engineers who obviously own the company. They're like 70s, 80s, with the young engineers that are like 20, and they're like, "This is the future," and they're talking to us, and they're starting to see, hang on, there's something here, and I guess the tools that we're designing for are kind of in that process, so it makes sense for our tools to evolve as well.
Yeah, I do love. So my background is plastic injection molding. That's what I did.
Yeah.
For SolidWorks. So I do love the attempts to compare the being able to 3D print at the same rate or the same volume as injection molding.
We'll never be the same or better than injection molding.
Yeah.
But if a lot of these injection molders were saying that they're turning away so many customers because they're like, "Oh, that's a bit pricey for a mold," or "I'm only doing 100. I'm not going to pay that much."
Yeah, they're complementary to each other, I think.
So they're coming to us and like, we can use you as an outsource. Or we had other customers coming saying that it's perfect for the end of life products.
Yeah. Yeah. Or to prototype.
Yeah.
And then eventually that gets turned into a mold.
Yeah.
So I love plastics. I could talk about plastics and molds for days on end. So that's fun stuff to me. So
Yeah.
yeah, you guys have to remind me how you're doing on time. I don't mean to keep,
No.
Oh no, we go
Yeah.
for however long it takes.
Yeah. As long as I'm not too uncomfortable sitting in the chair, the distraction is kind of nice.
No, you're good, Mike. We'll chat to you all night. It's good catching up.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys are. Yeah. Go ahead.
Have you got any new arcade machines? I know the last time we were on, you're in your little basement.
No, I haven't. Nothing. I need to. You know what I'm really waiting for is a great hobby solution of a water jet machine. I know there's some small ones out there, but like we need like a Kickstarter type of water jet machine to cut that kind of stuff. But I don't even know what I would do with it. I mean, I think the next thing I want to get into a powder based printer because there's stuff I wanted to make that you just can't make with SLS. Those things.
Yeah,
So,
you just got to be careful with those cheaper machines because they do avoid a lot of the kind of the dangers of SLS 3D printing. And
yeah, exactly.
For example, one of them is dust explosions.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, so everything you use around the SLS machine must be ATEX rated or bomb proof.
Well, hopefully they make that stuff more. I mean, some of the SLA stuff, some of those chemicals, the UV chemicals are pretty, you got to wash your hands and stuff. I mean, it's none of it's all safe.
Yeah.
I use just purely water washable resins because then I don't have to really deal with IPA. I can wash it all in water.
Of course, and the machines that got the automated wash stations, all that stuff now, I mean, that makes it so much.
Yeah, they're great. Makes it so much easier.
I remember when Formlab sent me the Form 1 as a test bed, I went on and bought a little UV nail curing machine for later to stick my parts in to dry. And now they have machines it'll transfer it and dry all these crazy stuff. So, but so yeah.
Brandon's coming in with the big questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, does SolidWorks benefit you with the simulation side with injection molding? I watch a few aviation YouTubers, and they are always amazed how accurate SolidWorks is with flow simulation. So I think he's speaking of Mike Puckett there.
Yeah, I was going to mention if that's who he's talking about. Mike Puckett, I know him very well. I had the privilege of going up and interviewing him and his brother last year for our conference, and then just kind of remained friends with them and saw him at the air convention this summer. And great guys. I mean, they're so inspiring, right? In what they do, their story's so great. But it's weird in plastic injection molding. The simulation comes into the plastic flow because people are trying to decide where to gate something, where the plastic's going to go in.
Exactly, yeah.
Because most of the time it's tribal knowledge or witchcraftery. Like there's some old 70-year-old guy that's at his bench in the dark corner of the shop saying, this is where you want to gate that thing because he knows because he's built 55 molds and seen it all happen.
Yeah.
So that's starting to emerge. The trade itself, I mean, when I started the trade in the mid 2000s with my dad, when I got into the design side of it in 2004, and I went to run a design. I went to run the design department at a new shop in 2004. They were still doing. The old owner who had just sold the place was still doing 2D CAD drawings on a board with pencils. So the industry itself it's slow to adapt. But you go into a modern machine shop now, like here in the U.S., we have a problem of a shortage of skilled workers in that trade, especially. You go into a modern machine shop, there's robots everywhere. I mean, it's all modern. So yeah, we use a little bit of simulation for, we were doing lens molds for Oakley. And so their lenses are all polycarbonate and you're injecting polycarbonate. I'm going to use PSI, sorry for the European crowd, but you're injecting polycarbonate at 30,000 PSI. And then it's going in at 600 degrees Fahrenheit, and so it's very liquid, it's very viscous to the point. And then when you put in there, you in the mold, you push more material in behind it to pack it, so it squeezes and aligns all the molecules in the plastic, so you get this super optically clear lens.
Yeah.
And that happens at like 50 to 60,000 PSI for 3 or 4 seconds. And so when you're up that high in PSI, you can bend steel. And so we discovered they were having a problem with one of their lenses because the other thing is polycarbonate, because it's so hot at 600 degrees, the mold is you're running hot oil through it. You're not, at that point, you're running 400 degrees hot oil to cool down from 600 degrees.
Just for that temperature differential.
So you can pull the part out, right? And pull it out and close it and get another cycle in. So they did they went to the old guy in the corner and said, well, let's put these cooling channels up under here. So there's this big insert, and they would machine this huge cavity out underneath it and put a matching cavity underneath it that had channels machined in it. Well, if that surface underneath didn't match perfectly, wherever there was a gap, that pressure was bending the steel. And they would usually use the EDM process, so you had gaps in there all over the place. And so we were able to use SOLIDWORKS simulation to simulate that. And what so not only did we simulate the deformation, we modeled the deformation, and then we virtually molded a part in the assembly in SOLIDWORKS. We just put a big blob of a solid in there, did a cavity subtract, right? And had like the molded part.
Yep.
And on top of that, we were able to simulate one of their tests they shoot a laser through the center of the lens, and if there's deformation in the lens, the laser will go all over the place. And we were able to replicate the same results they were getting on their manual tests, and prove to them, look. And so we came up with this different design with the cross, where we just did some cross drilled holes, and then we simulated again, and show them, look, this is what and then we use flow simulation for that to make sure they're getting the same flow rate of the oil through there. And we had to convince them to build a set. I mean, we actually took on the cost of the first set. So look, if they don't work, we'll eat the cost. And they were $16,000 for a set of inserts. Yep. So it was a lot of money for a small company. But the day that they ran it, they called us, and the owner comes upstairs to the design department. He says, we got to go down to Oakley. They're running those molds. I said, what did they say? He says, well, they think they're having problems with their test equipment because they're not getting there's no deviation. They think something's wrong. So we need to go down there. That was the problem, is that they were, I don't want to say we accidentally, but we ended up producing the best lens that they had ever made.
Yeah. Made it so well, they thought their equipment was wrong.
Yeah. If you guys watch the NFL football from America, the face shields, the Oakley face shields that they were in, I think I might have told you guys before, that was one of the original molds that we designed for them with this new design. And that to this day, that lens is the most optically clear lens that Oakley has ever produced. Just because and we just went back to simplicity. So there's not a lot of simulation in there, but certainly the flow simulation in SOLIDWORKS, I think because of where it came from, the company that we bought years ago, and that it's still developed in the way it is just great. I mean, it's done so well.
Yeah.
And I'm not a simulation person, but man, it's physics and stuff like that it's incredible what they can do. And that's why I'm excited to see what the future brings with the digital twins. I mean, like with my hip, like they'll be able to simulate
they'll simulate the load through it and everything.
And I won't have to go through all that stuff. Yeah. So,
I mean, thinking of how you're able to, and that's how injection molding is so accurate, because you're able to simulate, and you've got years and years of experience behind it. The tricky thing that we have with our SLS 3D printing is that you print this big bin of parts that are either just massive chunky bits that with tiny little bits all nested amongst each other, and you can't really control the cooling because obviously outside cools it faster than the inside, so we do get a lot of variation in sizes, so we can't be as accurate. But if we were able to take our build, put into SolidWorks or some sort of software and just simulate the cool rate, and then take those results and then use that to control some sort of oven to then cool it at a controlled rate. That's our machines haven't evolved we've got a machine that's 12 years old, and it works exactly the same as one of our machines that we just bought a year ago. All use the same software, all use everything is exactly the same, but what has evolved is the peripheral technologies around it.
Plastic injection molding it's an exact science until the plastic goes into the mold, and then all bets are off at that point.
Yep, exactly. I was going to say, Mike. Yeah,
we were working with.
Go ahead.
We were working with materials with shrink rates of 3 to 8% per inch. Sometimes that's a lot of.
That is.
Or 3 to 18%. Sorry, 3 to 18%, and you had to you could simulate a little, but you were guessing. You're always building the mold steel safe to where you could go remove steel to get the part in. So, it's fun stuff.
I
Yeah,
think
but I
we
was gonna say,
guarantee
so
0.3% for all of our stuff. But the bigger it gets, it's
Yeah. Once you can replicate it though with 3D printing, is you can go in, you can adjust your model based on the deviation and
but
start.
it's tricky because I can print this in a build full of tiny little bits, but the
Yeah.
next build has other bigger, thicker parts that
I'll
hold the
change it.
heat.
yeah,
Yeah.
So
Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
it'd be totally different.
it's there's kind of repeatability is tricky.
Yeah, no,
That's our thing we're fighting, and we're calibrating our machines every week. We're
Yeah, what
printing
I've done
calibrated parts.
when I've designed some parts, I use captive slots for like a little nut, so I can put a screw through to lock it in, and I can, the first one comes out. That's one of the first things I measure, and okay, this is the shrink rate as I call it, and I'll adjust that slot, and then the next time I put the thing in, actually I push it. I don't have to glue the nut in there anymore. It sticks in there. It's
So
predictable.
one of the things I do at work is I'm responsible for tooling for injection molding machines.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things we make is like water coolers for offices. But we export to America, who have just banned polycarbonate from being in contact with drinking water. So
Interesting.
we've had to go from polycarb to polyprop.
Yeah.
But the shrink rate of polycarb is like 6%, but polyprop is 12%.
Yeah, and it's not 6.1 or 5.9. It's pretty much 6%.
6%.
Yeah. Polycarbonate is a very stable material.
We've had these tools for 10 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're trying to modify them to accept the 12% shrink rate to get the same part to fit on the line. It doesn't work. So,
no, polypropylene, that's a standard drink material bottle. The price, but so you'll figure it out. That's for sure. So
With
definitely.
With
But we
3D
have a
printing
7-year-old
metals,
wizard.
yeah.
with 3D printing in metals, that's got a 30% shrink rate.
Oh yeah, I know we're talking about that. Yeah, that's still. I think we're
It's
still
like
years
desktop
off.
metal type of thing. It's very hard to control.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm just gonna let you guys go, and I need to stand up and stretch my hip and my legs a little bit. But I saw Travis. Travis, I'd love to come see your 8,000 ton high pressure injection machine. We're going to be in the Black Mountains. Is it Black Mountains or we're going to be in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, the few days before. So if I would have known, we would have planned for it. So unless you're on the way from Pigeon Forge to Atlanta, I'll have to make a trip out there to see. I'd love to go see an 8,000 ton machine. That would be impressive. Definitely. I'd love to know what they're molding in an 8,000 ton machine.
Big plastic things.
Yeah, dumpster maybe, or dumpster lids or something.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was I think we get up to 2,000 ton, but that's nowhere
biggest-
near 8,000.
Biggest I've ever seen is a 1,500 ton. They were doing lids for trash cans in there, so multi cavity. So hopefully, I look forward to seeing everybody there. And Monday night, get there early for Sunday if anybody wants to test. We'll have plenty of testing spots open on Sunday. We usually have about 350, 400 testing spots, and I think we only have about 150 people signed up. So anybody that wants to come on standby and on Sunday morning, Smoky Mountains, that's what it is. Come by and say hi, and you can sit down and take any exam if they want. And all the virtual people, you guys will get your information about how to take exams after the conference ends. So for any of those people wondering that.
So you're not doing virtual exams at the event?
Not during that day. We did it last year just as a kind of a unique thing, but this year we're just the technology has changed to allow us to introduce it in a different way. So we'll give them a week after the conference to take their exam.
I guess that means instead of splitting your team in two, you can have a team focusing.
Yeah. And even the people that go on site, they're going to get access to exams after the conference as well. So again, it's if you want
Jonny.
the most, go to the conference. Yep. So
Better get revising.
yeah. So, but yeah, I'm glad I was able to join, and I'm glad I didn't miss out today. So,
That's great. Thank you very much for joining
thank you
us.
for making it.
Yeah. Yep. And looking forward to seeing you guys. So if you guys are getting on Friday, right, or Saturday?
The Saturday.
Saturday about 3:00.
Yeah, let's share a beer at the bar at the Omni Saturday.
Yeah, if our flights don't get delayed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a habit of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for having me. I enjoy it, Tom, and enjoy the next week or two until we a couple weeks till we get over there.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you want to follow
sounds good.
Mike, he's on Twitter at Mike Puckett, 2 T's. on Twitter. Let's go through our little social thing. I'll do better this time.
He won't. He won't.
If you want to follow me, I'm at KJDesigns365.
If you want to follow me, it's at Kessel Ring Creations.
And we go live every 2 weeks. We're leading a lot up to World now, so we'll have one more show before World, and we'll post our schedule soon. But you'll find us on social media. On Instagram, we are at the Core Podcast.contact. On Facebook, we are at the Core Podcast with the O's are 0. On Twitter, we are at the _Core Podcast. And here on YouTube, we are the Core Podcast. Nailed it.
There you go.
You've done it right. You've done well.
Is that the first one of the year, or no? This is 17th, so probably not.
No, this is our first one of the year.
This is the first one.
So you're setting a record, right?
Extended holiday.
Yep. So,
Cool.
all right. Well, have a great evening. I know it's getting late there. Well, 10 o'clock.
Yes.
10:30.
Thank you very much for joining us, Mike.
Yes. Thank you. Take care.
Well,
we'll talk
thank you,
soon.
Mike.
Cheers.
Bye bye.
Talk soon, Mike. Thank you.